Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, another History Matters videos, so clearly I'm going to react to it. Let's go. If you're new to the channel, hello, my name is Connor. This is one of the oldest reaction videos. This is one of the first sort of channels I've been doing reactions on, and I've loved doing them whenever they come out, ever since. So let's do it. My name's Connor if you're new. The original link to the video, it's at the top of the description below. Right below that, link to the Discord. Helps me interact with you. Just click on it. Send you right over there if you want to learn about history, talk about history. Bunch of different subjects on the sort of left side menu of all the different channels. Just chill, hang out. Love to have you. We're nice, usually. Most of us, sometimes. We're good. All right, let's go. If you're not ready to learn, there's the door. You're in the wrong class. Get out.
Colonial powers divvying up continents, it's almost always in reference to Africa or the Americas. And whilst these are the continents that we often think of, Antarctica was, and also still is, divided. The continent is split like this, with these countries all claiming a chunk of it for their own.
So Norway, it was the first to reach the North Pole. So I mean, North Pole, there was a flag there. I'll try not to talk too much, even though it's a short video. Is it Roald Amundsen or Raoul Amundsen? I should know this. Roald Amundsen? I'm sorry. All right, so the UK. Where's the US? Where's the US? What? New Zealand, Australia, that makes sense. Okay, sorry, let's go.
And with this last bit having no official claimants. But how did this come to pass? Why is Antarctica still divided? Why by these countries in particular? And why is some of it still unclaimed? So, going back, the first person to discover Antarctica is controversial. In 1819, William Smith discovered these islands just off the coast of the continent. But it was the next year when Russian explorer Fabian Bellinghausen was the first to see the actual continent.
It was definitely a bunch of sealers or whalers who found it first and found a bunch of animals and didn't want to let the secret out or whatever, and I'm sure they didn't know it was a new continent. Maybe they did, but I'm guessing the first to find it were some 19th, 18th century sealers and whalers.
Continent. But it was the next year when Russian explorer Fabian Bellinghausen was the first to see the actual continental landmass. After it had become clear that there was a lot of land just sitting there without European flags, nations became very interested in it. So by the 1930s, Antarctica had been thoroughly explored, with the North became very
Fabianica, Antipodia, Ultima.
Interested in it. So by the 1930s, Antarctica had been thoroughly explored, with the Norwegians being the first to reach the South Pole in 1911. By which time the British had explored with the Norwegian.
Why? If you know why this, if you have a laugh to this, so this has got to be a British guy. Congrats on me. Okay.
Being the first to reach the South Pole in 1911. By which time the British had laid claim to this part of Antarctica because they wanted to tax the whaling there. And after this, there was a sort of scramble for Antarctica, and by 1939, the French had laid claim to this, the Norwegians this, and Germany this, with Britain and its dominions having most of the rest. As you'll know, 1939 also brought World War II, which as a result meant that these nations were much less interested in Antarctica and more interested in not dying. And during the war, Argentina and Chile asserted their own territorial demands in the region which overlapped with Britain's, which meant that it looked like conflict was brewing. After the war, the United States started to wipe the continent and made large-scale expeditions which worried the rest of the claimants. The Americans began these exercises to help them if they wanted any land for themselves, and also it acted as...
Guys, Americans are like 6% of my audience. Guys, that's us. Europeans, you guys are like 90%.
The Americans began these exercises to help them if they wanted any land for themselves, and also it acted as practice. For what? Antarctic conditions were similar to Arctic ones, and if the US ever went to war with the Soviet Union, it was believed that places like Greenland would be fought over. The addition of one of the world's superpowers meant that the rest of the claimants got a bit nervous, and so there was a concerted effort to negotiate a treaty. This wasn't just to stop the United States from grabbing it all, but to prevent the USSR and Japan from making their own claims. So the international treaty, the
Antarctic Treaty, you don't own it. You don't not own it. No nukes. Only do science.
Antarctic Treaty was signed by these nations in 1959, and it did several things. First of all, it banned any new claimants on the continent with the exception of the USA and the USSR, who could do so in the future if they wished. Importantly, it didn't recognise any nation's claims, it just kicked the can down the road. Second, the treaty demilitarised the continent, banning military bases and nuclear testing there. And third, the treaty made Antarctica a scientific haven, whereby research would be the primary interaction that the rest of the world had there. And what this did was put a stop to any further claims, which is why Antarctica is divided up like this, but in practice, not so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you.
In my opinion,
like this, but
it should be no one owns any of it, but like a 10-meter radius circle around the North Pole should just be owned by Norway, and then everything else just maybe like this peninsula. I'd be okay with like Chile or Argentina, kind of, and maybe the rest USA. I joke. Not really, though. All right, guys. Oh, that's not even the end. I'm an idiot. Wait, is it? Yes, it is. It was. I'm an even bigger idiot. All right, guys. Not my best I didn't very much keep it cool there. But I'll be going out with the last two extra credits, extra history, potato famine videos. See you next time. Follow me on TikTok